Okay, so in the note I sent out today, so I think we're on step 5, which is select the common instructional strategies. So what will we need to do based on the prioritized need from step 3, and then consider which effective strategies your team agrees to use to respond to that need. So we'll figure out what instructional practice we want to use, kind of like we did last time, how we kind of figured out the steps of that gradual release to teach about the main idea. And then if hopefully we can spend some time like actually looking through some resources and find some text that we can utilize. And then if we have time, we can go through the calendar and maybe write in on here, you know, when we're going to give the final assessment, so we all have a good idea of our timeline. Does that sound like a good idea? And then if we have time after that, we can go back, because we said we wanted to review the rubric. And so if we have time today, we can do that, but we'll see how quickly we get this done. So our theory of action from last time, so if we blank, so we haven't decided what we're doing yet, we'll figure that out once we find our common instructional strategy. Then 50% of our limited students, that's what we're focusing on, so that's our level 2. Limited students will be able to compare and contrast a common theme in 2 or more texts at a developing level, which is a level 3. So we're hoping to shift them up 1 level. So let's think about some common instructional strategies that we think might be helpful in teaching this.
Keeping in mind that we're not, just to clarify, it's not a whole new unit, right?
No.
Or it's just weaving it in a little bit here and there into what we're doing.
Yes.
Correct? Okay.
So I'm going to read our developing from our rubric just so we have in mind what we're shooting for as we're looking at what we're going to instruct and how. So for 5th grade, it says use of compare and contrast language is evident, and they're doing it effectively. That's implied in that. Students will compare and contrast the author's approach to a theme or topic from 2 or more pieces of literature within the same genre. And evidence is provided, but there's not a justification of the citation. And for 4th grade, there's use of compare and contrast language, and it's done correctly. And students will compare and contrast the treatment of similar themes and topics and patterns of events from multiple texts. And then again, the evidence is provided, but it's without justification of the citation.
Sorry, Christina. These strategies also can cover a lot of the different standards that we're also teaching in tandem with this. So the poetry and the opinion writing and all of that we can use these 2 strategies through all of those, getting to the questions that Christina's talking about that we'll eventually be putting out there for them.
I think essentially we are doing a close read. We're just not calling it a close read on our paper because we're not following the exact thing. So it's basically a close read.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. It's 412.
Okay. We have left model comparing and contrasting the treatment of approach of theme.
Okay.
Model identifying theme and justifying, well, we already did that before, and model how to identify evidence to support an identified theme. So we model reading aloud, identifying the unknown words, figuring out, making those margin notes about how is the theme treated or talked about here. What if the next part is we go back and highlight evidence that we feel supports the theme?
I think that's a logical step.
We have next week, the week after that, and then we have to have post-assessment by the next Wednesday. So we can get started on the theme stuff, let's say by Friday. We need to have them by Friday, because we can get started with Mary Lou Mellon, Edward Tulane, and Bad Case of Stripes this week, if you can, or starting early next week.
Okay, So I think that we are doing a really good job making sure that everybody has a voice. So I think we all are really respectful to each other when we talk to each other. We all make sure that everybody says what they need to say. And I wrote the same thing twice. So we make sure that everybody has a voice.
Means we do it really well.
Obviously, we did it well then.
But I meant it in two different ways. Like, we make sure everybody has a voice, but then, oh no, like, I don't know.
You mean that we respect one another when we talk and we give each other space to talk, but like when Rose said, Kate, it looks like you have something to say,
Yes.
so we ensure that people are voicing their opinions and not sitting there
We
silently.
encourage each other to.
I think we're doing a very good job with encouraging, and I think we're doing a very good job with asking questions. So
Yeah.
if one of us doesn't understand,
Clarifying
then
questions.
yeah, clarifying questions.